Right, hello, good happy Monday and everything to everyone. We will get going in a minute. Just getting things going. More apps and things running. That's the system. We'll see how we go. So we are live streaming on YouTube and on Twitter, I think for the first time. It's a slider bit. May or may not be a vertical stream on YouTube. So we're trying or doing a little bit of a test of that. It's spending money like it's going out of fashion, so not only have we invested now in Microsoft Flight Sim 24, but I've also got Rex Atmos and also StrataWX. It's both atmosphere and weather injectors that actually they don't sit on top of the game. They actually, well, I don't know if the websites spell it out better than I can, but they take over the atmosphere and the weather from Bobo's versions. You already had the Vision Jet. Just been doing a little bit of flying testing it the other day, so we're actually up at but not much of this is Microsoft. So we've got Microsoft Flight Sim 24. Edinburgh is an add-on airport. Kidlington Oxford that we're flying to is a new purchase add-on airport that I got, that I was showing boxing the other day. Going to be our new base of operations for small planes, GA aircraft, small jets, etc. In my old hometown area, and yeah, it's a small but interesting airport that's expanding fast, and I would have gone to do all my ATPL training if I'd gone on to do that. So we're going to be flying down there for this flight. It's just over an hour, about an hour and 20 minutes or something to go down there in this jet. This jet's not super fast. It's faster than a sort of prop plane, but not really any faster than a turboprop. I think SimBrief's already installed. I am running Rex Atmos and Strata. I will turn them on and off. Now the UK right now has got some quite still weather with not a lot of clouds or things going on, so after we do this flight we might just try some thunderstorms or go visit somewhere, because you can go around weather, everything. So stutters. Yeah, so I'm gonna, I say I recently acquired these, so we are going to run them. We're going to play around with them. We can now. StrataWX has had a bit of an issue with some weather pop-in. So, like, imagine you're in cruise flying or something. It might pop in a bit of weather ahead of you as it's loading. Now, apparently, there's been a little patch or change or something that's reduced that or something, but StrataWX only came out in July, so the software's been on the market only about 6 weeks, so they are patching it, they are improving it. At the moment, from what I've watched on others using it, it looks great and it's a really great tool. But so I'm just messing around a little bit here with Rex Atmos. And we can do cirrus density and cirrus altitude. haven't got Strata running at the moment. Menu profile here. Load back up Strata, which has changed the sky dramatically here, making, I think I've got, yeah, right, this is Strata now. See only how realistic the clouds sort of look. So anyway, we'll have a play around with that. I have loaded up the flight plan, so we're pretty much ready to go. I think I will just shorten the thing a little bit. We will we're taking off from runway 5. Let's take the chocks off. Let's just get take off that. Okay, so amongst the many things running, we've got graphicals. So we are up in Glasgow, taking off from runway 5, heading down the coast over Liverpool, passing Manchester, and often I'm flying to Heathrow or Gatwick or somewhere like that, but as we're going to Oxford. Now at the moment Oxford is, let's have a look, the only ILS is runway 19. No, it's not using 19 at the moment, it's using runway 1. Got a 12 knot crosswind, which is ideal. So it looks like runway 23 now in use. It's great because then that means I need to change everything. Looks like it's just switched. So if we're doing a departure out of runway 23 and we're going south, we do the Norbo probably, 1H. Hang on, science, the wrong. The runway 23, or not side. Don't know if the AI planes have switched the runway though. Homo 3A, does that work? Runway 23 is the one we're actually slightly nearer to. But it goes all the way up there. I need to come down again. Norbo 1H. So that'd be straight out and a left turn. That works. I just need to try and put that in the plane now then, because it's all changed. This computer's it's very easy to use. There's a few things with the flight plan that always. So we're departing EGPF. Not normal thing, but we're actually using much runway 2. Load that in. Unlike the other ones, I find it a bit difficult. I can do a direct to, but like moving things up and down the list. You know, I'm a bit more used to the MCUs that are like Boeings and stuff. So that's the map there. Norbo, Rovler, down south. Yeah. I've got nav on, the speed bugs are done, takeoffs, landing there set the minimums. Radio out, let's set it to 250. So the transition is so transition is 6,000 or 7,000 feet, normally directed by transition altitude 1,000. Okay, so I've got 6,000 plugged in. We're not using ATC today. I've got enough going on with this weather and everything else. So, okay. So StrataWX is a more visual app for the weather, and Rex Atmos deals more with changes of how the atmosphere works in the sim. Running both of them together kind of changes the way that you fly because of how the plane feels, but then, you know, visually as well with the clouds. So I mean, Rex wasn't too expensive. That was just under £11. Barter was $29.99 in dollars, about £23. But of course, everywhere you go in the game, you're flying in the air. So, unlike spending £20 on an airport, where you have to be at that airport to get the benefit or something, of course. I thought, well, if I'm going forward with Microsoft 24, it is probably worth getting stuff that's going to help the atmosphere and the weather. To get, you know, a bit more bang for buck in what it does for you in the game. But you know, it's all a bit of a test for me. As I say, I've had Rex Core only a couple of days, and Strata I got this morning, so we've got various planes and airports to test. But you know, we've got Oslo. I was going to do an Oslo flight in this, but it's about 3.5 hours to Oslo in this. Whereas if I use the Citation 750, it's like a 2-hour flight, if that. So this plane's a bit slow to go. This plane's not designed for like you know, it's much more sort of a regional private jet. So, you know, around the UK, has a range of about 1,000 nautical miles, but practically you'd probably get in about 600-700 or something. So yeah, going to France, Belgium, Amsterdam, you know, Ireland, Scotland, you know, it probably can just do the leg over to Reykjavik. But it flies quite nicely, you know, landing and takeoffs and stuff. So I'm using it. Obviously we'll be back to the Piaggio P180 for more of the transatlantic. We've got to do 2 or 3 legs across the United States. As we've flown Guernsey, we did Guernsey up to here to Glasgow, and then did Keflavik over at Iceland, and Nasarack in Greenland, and then we did Greenland to Goose Bay in Canada. Oh, by the way, just for you, that's bothered, but I did find a free airport. It's pretty basic, but it's better than what the sim had. Last here. At Nasarack, so I've got BATC. I've got well, I actually should have used the other taxi. Never mind. Paying too much attention here, am I? But so I'm going to try and get some more of the airports so that the transatlantic route. Now, obviously, you can skip out some of the routes in a plane that can fly further, but I've got Glasgow, I've got Edinburgh airports, I've got BATC, Reykjavik, Iceland, Keflavik, in actual fact. I've got this free airport now at Nasarack, which actually just sorts out a little bit. I'm not sure the runway looks better. I think the runway in 2020 looks better than anything I'm seeing in 24. Stand off here because I think the AI traffic's still using the other runway, even though Navigraph isn't. More about I think the plane's gone flying around as well. I only put the traffic on so they had a few things moving around the airport. I'll see if I can find a freebie for Goose Bay in Canada. Because that would be quite a regular stop place. I had a look for Rochester and I couldn't find anything for 2024 in Rochester, either paid or free, so I've got San Jose where we're actually going to. Thank you for the follow, whoever that was. I've got too many screens open at the moment. Not so much feel the weather, but I mean the new joystick is amazing. I mean, compared to what I was using, 100%, 1000%. I don't know how I could describe it, but it's totally changed the manual flying for me. And therefore, only wants me to get proper throttles and rudders and stuff as well, because I know that will do the same thing. I mean, it's not rocket science. You get proper, decent controllers for the inputs of a plane that are trying to do it in some budget stuff. Right, let's get going. We can talk about the rest one. Okay, we're rolling. 40 knots, speed of life. 70 knots. 80. Speed 1. Okay. Quite nice takeoff on the central line there. Let's not go always over. Good gear up. Go above 10%. Back can come away. Okay, I'm going to put autopilot on. And we're going to go VS. And we're going to go a couple hundred feet a minute up. Nothing crazy. Have I actually got set now? $1200 is fine. Okay, let's make sure nav is on. And I'll put the auto throttles on as well. Okay, then see the sights of Edinburgh as we leave that behind. But yeah, this Strata's really, it looks so realistic, and it's not just how the cloud looks, it's the way it's layered, and you've got more layers than Cirrus and Strata, and makes the horizons look better and more realistic. Doesn't really affect the FPS at all because it's built into the sim and replaces it. It's not on top of the sim. It's and I've got a few settings to play around with, so I only just got it. Can you see any vertical stream on YouTube? Oh, yeah. Things like right, so just a quick debrief then. Let's just do the after takeoff checks. So flaps are up, trims are set, engine T's and P's all look good. We're still on the local barrow. When we get to 6,000, I'll be restricted in purple to 5 because of the departure. So we can be between 5 and 6, and we'll be able to go up to 6 soon. That's all good. I've got so much money to. Oh, my TV license money coming out in September, I'm going to have to pay. Can't live without Navigraph now. Beyond ATC uses it, or Black Planning uses it. So we've got Navigraph coming out in the same month. Of course, I've gone and spent all this money on various things now. But yeah, this weather's looking, I'm actually very impressed with this. It looks pretty realistic. We still get some pixelation in the game that Microsoft Film does mess around with that. I can go with this, and we can go to Bandbox, and I can just play the sliders, which I won't do it. I'll get this flight in, and then we're going to play around a little bit with weather stuff to have a look at it. But has a nice dashboard showing, you know, you've got layers, temperature, millibars, all that stuff. So you've got a historical weather and sandbox weather, do a hybrid, a whole bunch of stuff here with that we can fiddle around with. Also does like the winds aloft and stuff. But I'll set it for the live weather, let it do its thing. So we're now climbed up to the 6,000 that we were allowed to. We've got this left turn coming in. Now I'm not using the ATC or beyond ATC at the moment, but pretty sure So Norbo we need to be 6,000. But after Norbo, what did my sim brief? I didn't notice what it put in for my there's so many windows open. Yeah, but sim brief. 25,000 feet. Okay. So I can actually put in the 25,000 now because we've got the restriction of 6. It's not going to do the climb until after we pass Norbo. So let's put in the 25,000 so we're prepared. Making our turn out of Norbo. All looking good. Right, so we get a weather map here as well, so in Strata. So, I mean, some of this stuff you can get all various different ways. It's just packaged enough. The UI is quite nice on this. So we can see, and this is live. This is what's happening now in the world. So you can see that Normandy in France is about to get hit. Obviously, the pink weather and the red is, you know, you've got the key. Pink and the red is the worst. So they're really getting like probably hail. What have you? Got virtually no weather over the UK right now. A little bit near Dublin, small little pockets here and there, and you know, there's quite a bit of weather right over Iceland at the moment. So you can go to these places as part of the live weather in the Strata, or you can just go to Sandbox and fiddle around with sliders, have fog and snow and thunderstorms. Right, let's climb. Otherwise, probably should have done this bit earlier. Okay. 25,000, we might get above a few clouds, but this plane doesn't fly super high. You don't see the vertical map. That's okay. Oh, it's running in the studio. Light on for itself. I might have to use some other things to get it to work. Yeah, I mean, you'd also be best to check it or try it on your phone or something, but I looked on my phone, but of course it's a little bit different because I'm the owner of the channel. It doesn't really show me the right. But if there was vertical, I mean, obviously you'll see my other stream on the phone, but in theory there should be one. I don't see it either. Not a short, I haven't created a short. But anyway, I plan to do that. I've also got, we've got messing around with the Twitch and 2K thing. You know, I was going to do that a week ago or something, and just everything else, just haven't got round to it yet. So, but I'm a bit worried about messing up my other settings. I need to write down and record everything I've got. currently and stuff, so if it gets messed up and the bit rates aren't working, but there's an enhanced mode which should allow my Twitch to be viewable in 2K. So in the coming weeks we'll do that, have a test, and I'll need to rely on feedback from some of you guys to do that. But yeah, but do you see, like, you don't really get this, so like, just even there, you see we've got these clouds down here, we've got quite a realistic looking horizon without sort of some harsh line. I think Microsoft Flight Simulator has a bit of a weirdness with the horizon just going off into infinity, and you can sort of see it without, you know, in real life you have haze and cloud. And then we've got this cloud level, so it does, you know, the Cirrus and the Stratas pretty well. I've got clouds on Ultra, but you know, we're going to get a little bit of pop in. You can see this loading in, and that is Strata's sort of weak point at the moment, but I'm hoping it'll be less noticeable as they roll out more patches and stuff for it. But I can live with that at the moment. When you, I mean, look at this, we've got this cloud here. So if I take Strata off again, so it does take a couple minutes to if I turn it off, watch what happens when it switches, and then we'll turn it back on again. Takes a while because they say it's not running on top of the sim, it actually is sort of encoded with the game. They explain it better on the website, but in a minute it will, most of this cloud's going to disappear. And it's not to say, I mean, Microsoft, you know, 20 and 24 look pretty good with the weather and the clouds. They're not terrible or anything like that, but sometimes the sort of layering and Cirrus and Stratas and stuff don't really get done particularly well. Hasn't changed yet. Got it here as well, but I don't want to run it in the game. Really, it can slow up the sim if you run things like Navigraph. Navigraph's built into the game now, but it does sort of make the game run a bit slower. Struggling to get thingy to change at the moment. So we won't do a right turn until DCS. Now I will need to keep an eye on the weather at Oxford. It might change. I'd like to use runway 19 for ILS just because I've not used it at the new airport that I got. But at the moment they're using runway 1 because the wind is kind of weird actually. The wind's coming from the east. It's pretty unusual for us, normally coming from the west. Right, okay. That just, it took a hell of a long time to do it, but that is the weather in Microsoft Flight Sim. Now it is a sunny day and you've got a little bit of cloud and you think, well, this looks great. And it does look great. I mean, you see, but that's without Atmos and without Rex Atmos and without Strata. Took a lot longer there to get rid of it than before. Let me boot them back up again. So again, you know, you've just got some haze, you've got a little bit of cloud up here, pretty much no cloud around Microsoft Sim. Let's just take a couple minutes to take over, because say it's, if you read on their websites, it explains it better than I, that it's not just running over the top, so it does replace, using the game code, the weather and the clouds, so that's why it takes a little while for it to switch. Just Atmos at the moment, trying to get in. Way too many things running. Right, we'll let it do its thing. A bit quicker loading it back in. So yeah, you know, you're getting clouds, you're getting layers and strata, and it's using a more detailed model, you know, without running around and trying to take photos and stuff for comparison. But anyway, I've liked it enough to get by them and get them, and because I say you spend all your time in the sky, I kind of thought it was worth, you know, compared to other money I've spent on things like hardware and the game and things, you know, having these things. I am running clouds on. We're not running 4K, we're only running 2K because I don't have a 4K monitor, but we are running clouds on Ultra. I believe. Volumetric clouds Ultra, yeah. I'm running texture on high because that does hit the gain quite. Some people say you can have it on medium, makes no. But and say you get a little bit of pop in with Strata, but I think they'll sort that out and smooth that out. It's probably to do with the range thing. But it's nice. Big picture. Okay, are we at cruise altitude? No, not yet. We're just about to. So we'll speed up a bit here. I'm still, my YouTube channel is still quite small. It's not even monetized for 500 people yet and stuff, but need about another 90 or so followers on my YouTube. But I'm still considering doing a Twitch and YouTube flight only sort of channel thing. You know, starting over and having such a small base, just kind of you know, I could call the channel, I was thinking of calling it Flight Gamer or Fly Gamer. There's a few Fly Gamers about, but they don't. The one I did find, the bigger one that was isn't actually doing it to do with flying. So okay, so we've evened out our speed here. We're just going to let the speed increase. Cruise speed. Yeah, we're inbound to Ripno. We do the turn at DCS. Overall, we've got our track here. I don't know if this Garmin system does show it. I quite like it when you get all the breakdowns, to the timings to the... it doesn't show it on here. I'd like the timings to all the different points. Ultimately, we've got... up here we've got a ground speed, our direct track, ETA, the next waypoint which we're just doing now, the bearing, the distance. ETA, we should be landing at 13:14 UTC. So in about an hour, because that's UTC, we're UTC +1 at the moment, so in about 50 minutes landing. But this is the Flight FX version of the Vision Jet. It's not the one that comes from Microsoft Flight Sim. I've got both obviously now in the sim because I had this plane anyway. Last time I tested this was still vastly better than the one that came with 24 for free. But I haven't tested that one this year. So I probably will do a flight in the other Vision Jet just to see how it looks and performs. But I think the system's accuracy and depth is still better. All the sim brief stuff and everything with the Flight FX version. But yeah, let's just have a look around. See, we've got some cloud now. I'm running Core as well, and I think Core's do it. I mean, I can do some weird stuff, as I say. We can apply filters, you know, so you can mess around with the filters and the colors and stuff, you know, and then save a profile. So if there's something you like, or you're trying to get a particular style for a photo or something, you can do that in Rex Atmos. But we can adjust the weather impact scale, move it up and down. Yeah, and if you're not too worried, I mean, Core I haven't really flown with too much, and as I say, I haven't got enough hours really in 24 and stuff. A lot more in 20 than having 24, but you know, certainly from a visual point of view, you know, you're going to get a bit more out of Strata than you do with Rex Atmos. But I've watched a few videos that sort of say the two working together kind of give you quite a nice you know, a nice aspect. Anyway, we're flying over, I doubt that's a lock. Is this the, I think this is the Lake District, isn't it? Is this Lake Windermere or something? Have a look, where are we? Yeah, I think this is, yeah, Lakendal. So this is the Lake District ahead of us with all these. This one actually we're looking at is this one. So this is the Derwent. I did stay Keswick, so is it this Lake Windermere? No, that's better to look at Google Maps. Maybe both do one. It's connected, isn't it? Very, very pretty round here. And we're, you know, Microsoft is not doing a bad job. So there's the two, so that's Lake Windermere there, and you've got two water bodies. That's a fantastic place to go and stay at if people want to go. You know, I mean, how many like tourists and stuff come, you know, from the States, and they all go to London and Glasgow, and there's not that, I mean, there's lots, but, you know, the Lake District is certainly, you know, maybe you get to stay there for a whole week or something, but have a quick little look to the Lake Districts. But yeah, so we've got the BATC National Nature Reserve. I mean, all these little villages around here. So Keswick is often where a lot of people will stay in the guest houses or whatever. But you can go up there for like, I mean, just look at this, look. Make that bigger? I don't know. But look at that. Look at that for a view. You sit there, read your book. Amazing. So this, let's have a look. So this is Birmingham. Where's Windermere? Chronicle. Where's Windermere somewhere else? I'm getting a bit confused. Lake Windermere is probably somewhere else in the country. But I thought it was up there. Okay. Yeah, because I know it's a really big one. So it's yeah, so there's Keswick, and where, you know, so it's further south. It's this really big long one, which we'll see. There it is there. So that's Lake Windermere there. I've got to take a photo of that now. Oops. Exposure. The landing time will be slightly added. And clicking pictures like a tourist. Yeah, I haven't been for a long time, but I went when I was a teenager, and then I think I went with my family. So I think I've just been twice. I'd love to go back really. It's just a lovely part of the world to come to. I mean, the best time to go though wouldn't be when all the schools are off, because you get a lot of tourists up here. you know, and you can be affected by weather, so you don't particularly want to go. But I think going in like late September, October, or going like March, April, May, probably even May is probably a really good time to go because you'll be that bit warmer. You know, a lot of the schools don't break up. You know, May or early June would be nice. You know, and there's lots of guest houses or B&Bs or whatever. I mean, there's hotels as well, but you know, you could just go up for 2-3 days. If you want to do activity stuff, there's lots of stuff depending again seasonal. I mean, guidebooks on it and everything. But you know, from your windsurfing, your boating, your jet skiing, paragliding, sending, all that stuff. Lots of water sports on the lake. Some more than others. You know, and then you've got lovely sort of quaint villages and stuff, places like Braithwaite. What else is around? With Lake Windermere, you've got Windermere itself. I mean, Kendal's like the big town and stuff. You know, a lot of people stay there. Honestly, I mean, if you just Google like images and look at these places. I mean, Coniston. Let's just have a look on Google Maps. Coniston. Let's switch to that. Yeah. I'll probably pick some place now with a building site or something. But straight away, when you're up in the Lake District, you get a lot of these houses have like made out of stone or stone cladding and stuff. But I am running the sim here. It's going to be a bit delayed. But you've just got lovely hills and stuff. Obviously not the best weather when this picture, when this was taken. Lots of little shops, outdoor vibes. Coniston Food House, a cafe or something. There's a pub up here, I think. Oh yeah, man. Got 2 pubs vying for business. Honestly, running the sim on this, isn't it? So we've got the Black Bull Hotel here, and then right opposite here we've got the Udell Inn. Yourself up there, box in. Sim's struggling. It's like, how many things do you want to actually open and run all at the same time? Yeah, I mean, there is, that's right. I mean, I do love to go, but I'd certainly love to go to Norway, Denmark, and some of the Nordic countries, Sweden. I'd love to go back to Iceland. I really did love, you know, I just love the accents as well. I mean, a girl speaking Icelandic, I mean, that's it. You know, I'm in love within 5 seconds.
difficult to pronounce, and I thought I would read a few of them. Kirkjubæjarklaustur, Stykkishólmur, Siglufjörður, Reyðarfjörður, Fáskrúðsfjörður, Grundarfjörður, Patreksfjörður. And the longest Icelandic word is Vaðlaheiðar vegavinnu verkfæra geymsluskúrs Lykla kirkjuhringurinn. So some people say that Icelandic
I mean, Finnish accents, Danish accents, I mean, they're quite a little bit different and stuff, but I do love them. I probably can't find. That's a weird,
It's okay.
Sure.
Have a look around yourself.
And similarly, if you have a word that starts with W.
God, that's American. We don't want that.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, she's got a lovely accent.
You value your food.
Oh God, that's. I'll come back to this in a sec. Anyway, we're not over the Lake District anymore. We are somewhere else, near Liverpool, imagine. Blackpool. Okay, Blackpool. And then Birkendale Sands, and we've literally fly pretty much right over Liverpool. This is what, Birkenhead then? Birkdale, sorry. Blackpool just on the left before the Gap of Water. So this is Blackpool. Down here there's a Blackpool airport. That's Birkdale, and then like here is Liverpool-ish. Right, let's go back to the Icelandic accent.
This is Elizabeth ASMR, and today I'm going to be doing the Gamer Room Tour 2, an updated version. I'm just going to start doing a disclaimer because my last video got so popular. This is an ASMR video, which is why I'm speaking very softly, and I will be touching a lot of things. Just Google it or YouTube it and you will get what ASMR is. It's just supposed to be relaxing. I'm not trying to be seducing or... And there are some sacred
Sort of an ASMR thing, but
I don't know, books.
probably the intro was
Budget
that.
set for our family, and each of us get
I don't know
like
what it is, but just
a little
Icelandic,
money,
I mean
use
Danish,
on whatever we want.
and
I buy beauty products and stuff
not
like
so much
that
the guy.
with
I mean,
his
just
peers,
hearing
and
a
he
lady
collects it.
speaking with a Danish
And he's
accent,
also very
Finnish
smart in his
accent.
collecting.
You know,
he like
any
rarely
of
ever
those
buys anything
Icelandic
new. He goes to flea markets. He trades.
trades.
The internet is like full of like how used games and stuff. I'm not into it.
You know, I mean Bjork. You know, I always love interviews with Bjork
and him
because
having
she just had that.
a
She was
room
from
of his own
Iceland.
in our apartment is something we agreed on.
I'm talking with Björk. Thank you very much. This is Now, where are you from originally? You're from...
I'm from Iceland.
Now, you grew up there. Your parents are from there as well? Or?
Yeah, I've lived there just since this year, you know.
Oh, okay. Now, so you grew up, your musical development then was all in Iceland. What's it like over there? What's the music scene like there?
Oh, it's a lot of sort of isolated people who actually know how to control and operate electricity, but they don't.
But good music comes from that situation.
Yeah, and they're kind of isolated, and they kind of listen. They sneak and listen to American radio, and they kind of like get sort of what's going on in Europe as well.
Right.
And then they kind of like
She lived a lot in London, so
misunderstand
she's
it
got
in a
this sort of
very beautiful way.
Icelandic sort of London sort of flag
No, that's great.
thing
Those
going on. I mean, that's an old video, but
space, just to have silence, so their sort of internal musical monologue can grow. I love, so for example, doing arrangements or mixing albums in cities, because that's more like afterwards. That's more the dialogue or the sort of, you know.
Detail work, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I love people. I don't want to sound like I've got not a total monk, you know. But I also have like amazing friends and going to cities and dancing and. So, yeah, both.
The balance of the both.
I think balance of the both.
Do you have an earliest musical memory? Do you have something that was formative for you as a young person, as a very young person, that you can actually trace this curiosity and the way that you've moved through music and fallen in love and collaborated in this space?
Like, okay.
too?
anyway, you get the idea. Icelandic accent. I'm there for it. Right, so this is Liverpool then. Let's have a look. So Liverpool on the Mersey, got Morton on this side. Because if I'm right, where's like Everton? So Everton fans are, I think, this side. Everton is sort of Birkenhead and stuff. So Everton is this side and Liverpool this side. So you know. They come from different sides of the Mersey, I believe. That's a bit wrong. The Liverpool Airport, John Lennon Airport's just right on the side of the Mersey here. So we're literally going to almost fly right over the airport. And again, because of our altitude, you can probably see the airport. There it is. There's the runway. John Lennon. It was renamed John Lennon Airport about years ago, maybe. But yeah, this is all Liverpool down here. Liverpool docks and all that stuff, all that jazz, Runcorn. Absolute arse to drive to. And back from much better to fly over at 25,000 feet. These clouds that we've got here, these layers, I'm really liking that. Cloud layers. No, the Fargo accents are Minnesota. I mean, there's some sort of similarities, but they're sort of a Canadian. The Fargo accents are sort of a mixture of Canadian accent. You know, so there's a Minnesota, like a northern Minnesotan with a slight Canadian twang is sort of a Fargo accent. Fargo series. What great series they are. I've watched it. Right, I have got traffic on. Whoops. That's a nice picture. I can get this though. Wondered whether it's got anything. This is where 20's better. Like 20 wouldn't have these numbers blurred and stuff. 24 does this very good colours and this sort of looks much more realistic, the ground a bit at altitude, but it does tend to not blur, bring things in a detail. 24, and if we were flying over this in 20, like this airport and the runways that you can see it's all a little bit blurred, and in 20 that would be very crisp, it wouldn't be, but then the colours would be a bit different and stuff. It's kind of weird, but I don't think the injector's putting traffic in down there. This is the way to travel though, isn't it? This is the way to travel. Yorkshire Dales. No, I haven't really. I think I've driven through them and stuff when I was doing my driving for my work back in 2000, 2010. Like from 2003 to like 2012, 2013. I was driving quite a lot around the UK and stuff. But, and then if you look at Yorkshire Dales, what towns are there? So I would have gone. But no, I've not had a holiday or anything there. But I mean, you just again, it's just so much to do in the UK, isn't there? Anything. You know, it's money and time. I mean, you either have the time and have no money, or you have money and no time. So I will have gone to places like Middlesbrough, Darlington I went to and stuff. So I remember driving through, like, I think I took this A66. You go A1 and then A66 or something, and you get to see some lovely sights. I mean, it's still motorway, it's not as good if you go, like, say, got the man on the A66 here. There's no case, I've just chosen a very good embankment. But yeah, I mean, lovely views and stuff. So I've driven through it and around it quite a bit, you know, back in the day. But not had a holiday or anything. Right, so I'm not using any APC at the moment. I mean, I could do, but it's a bit late to start that now. So we'll just do our own thing going in. I'll pass some crew here. So 25,000 feet, Oxford's pretty much sea level. Let's just have a look, like a couple of 100 feet. Airport elevation's 263. At the moment we're using runway 1. Let's check the weather again. Need to go to the boys' room. Is there a boys' room on this jet? Yes, it's still coming from the east. I'd have to swing round to the south for us to switch runway. It's a bit of a shame because can't do an ILS. I like doing ILSs, but with a new controller with a manual flight, so we'll probably do an RNAV or something into. Well, actually, I don't think there is an RNAV into one. Maybe not. Is it an option? Just the NDB. Add it to the route with it. Right, give me a sec. I'm going to go to the loo and be right back. I'll leave you with the lovely views. Right, so I'll probably do a descent from 25 to 10, and then we'll go 10 to 3 or 4 or something. Beautiful though, beautiful. Nice. Chill, lovely views, travelling somewhere. So yeah, don't forget I've got my commands for Twitch, which I've put in the channel that you can use. You've also got your bamboo points that you can use for things. Don't have any of that stuff on YouTube really. You might monetize some YouTube chats but yeah. You can get these videos and VODs recorded and left up on YouTube. Very nice. The views, we've got these views from inside, left and right, directly over the wing. So this plane can do a 5+2 or a 6+1. Say the new, I've got this configured at the moment for business, which is the storage at the back, center console. But if we go to the tablet and we change it around, so we can configure for family, we do that and then go to the back. You now lose the center console, and we've got like seating back here. So it's sort of an adult seat and 2 child seats. Apparently the G3, the new one, it was in that video that I talked about with the guy going to Oxford and stuff. Got a bench seating at the back, so it's sort of all adult seating, but with some child restraints and stuff. So they've just changed it around, and they actually don't do a central console in the G3, and they've got rid of the TV screen. In favour of people having their own devices and iPads. They've got special hooks on the backs of the seats in the new G3. But yeah. $3.5 million one of these. The new G3 might be a bit more money. Right, let's have a little look where we're at then. Let me extend this range out here because it's 10 miles. Okay, so lookup's about 40 nautical miles, so I think we'd probably best do our descent. So I'm going to put in 10,000. Now, if I do flight level change on this, it dives down like a mad Egypt. So just going to do some VS speed. It'll come down 1200. One day I'll get proper things for fiddling knobs. You're not, if you move it, zoom in, out and in. Okay, 10,000 is set. Coming down, auto throttles will be off power automatically. Starting our descent into Oxford. All looking good, passing major town here. Let's have a look what that is. Birmingham, I imagine. Yeah, there we go. Dudley, Birmingham. Country in the distance. Literally fly over Redditch. Birmingham. And this is Redditch just down here on my nose. Okay, all looking good. Yeah, really happy with the weather strata, and it all seems to be working alright, not affecting frame rates too much, that's good. Get some lunch in a little bit. So, landing 1308, so yeah, basically. I have to increase my descent actually, but I think we're okay. We're a minute out from People's. Let me have a little look because we don't have proper approach. So the only ILS is. Let's just check the weather again. 21 degrees, 15 knots, bit of a gusty crosswind this, so it's still using runway 1, winds coming slightly northeast, but it's 50 to 110. Might be a bit. Let's test my. Okay, so we're still using runway 1, so we're going to come in then to here, line up. There'll be a visual approach, which we're not using ATCs, we're just using this FQ01. Now I don't know what this will land in. Yeah, probably not. And stuff in, so let's go NDB01, that's what we're doing. Perfect. Sometimes get the database on this isn't bad, but it's not like a real plane. I'm just flying over to the airport and quite what it's doing there.
Vertical track.
Couldn't work out how to get the plane off inches because it was greyed out, so it might not be a thing that for the Americans. Stuck on this map here. All that. It's doing this really weird FAQ. So like this thing I need to keep. with what FQ1's here. Low on fuel. Might actually flame out here. A bit difficult, I say it. It's kind of like that. Get a bit of fueling. I don't know, 22% should be better. Understand why it's doing that. I may just go manual, go further south. Need to lose a bit more height. This actually has some adjusted heights for I haven't done an NDB approach for like ever. I don't want to do what it's doing, so we are just going to go to heading. Might like to do the this FQ01 isn't quite locked in alignment. Maybe it is. We'll come out this way and then we'll do a direct 2, but well, we've got to lose height still, so I've got the lights. Interesting if we flame out, isn't it? I don't piss around too much. Last words. Activate the approach. This I don't know. This isn't right. But if you do flight level change in the Vision Jet and Microsoft, I usually down at like 6,000 feet. Never do that. We'll do it. We need to get down. Just get the heading back rounds. Now, trying this approach, and we'll fly it in manually anyway. Nav button as well, so we'll capture it hopefully. Nice little town there on our right. Which one's that? Arterton? Oh no, Barrington, okay. Okay, we'll lose some speed. It's still looking for the track I need to do. Get in here. Oh. There's a button that you can press to clear the cast, I think there is, but we're fine. What does 500 enter E6? We're coming into D5 really, is 1,500 feet. Okay, we will start thinking about dropping the gear as pretty close. Yeah, put some down here. Get a little bit more, getting used to seeing it once we do more flights in and out of here. AFM's cut. So this pool of water here, we bank to the left quite a bit. Gear down. Got 59 gallons of fuel, so we're fine. These warnings, I think you can choose what they, well, in real life maybe, but maybe not in the sim, at what levels they warn you, but we are low. You want to be flying an hour somewhere else. We're good. Good. Got 30 in the left, 29 in the right, 59. Okay, really only two stages of flap here. There's the runway there. Okay, I'm going to switch to manual. Out of flap. Going to make us flare up a bit. Manual. Chill off the speed. Very diving. Cool. A bit high, but we'll be fine. I'm not reading any chat. Concentrating on flying at the moment. A bit quiet. We will make a nice landing. I will get some lunch. Maybe we'll do flying later. So nice to hand fly now. Okay, let's check. We've got 3 greens down, 1 stage of flap. I'm going the next stage of flap now. The approach we want 100 and our reference speed is 90. We've got a bit of a crosswind, so 90-95 speed is actually going to be fine. But we've got quite a bit of wind coming from the right. Get over.
Minimums.
Add some more speed. A bit low, but we're good. Fuel would stop pinging at me. So yeah, this is Oxford Kidlington. I got this. This is a add-on. Good, good. Just keep it coming down. Fine. Keep it coming down. Floating a bit too long here, but that's good. Plenty of runway. Massive float, man. Halfway down the runway. Wouldn't be happy with that in real life, but yeah. Welcome to Oxford Kidlington. Nice little flight from Glasgow there. Flying over the Lake District, Liverpool. Seeing all kinds of lovely little sights. A bit off the runway here. Clean up the flaps. Now the lighting and stuff's all done automatically on this jet between landing and taxi, so we don't need to mess with that. I'm not using ATC for this flight, but we'll be switching over to ground, of course. You would normally come to the hold point, get rid of your flaps, change your lights, do all that jazz. There is a captive up. These things, these are all switches. Just the lights. This thing does the checklist. Anyway, that's all good. Let's taxi back to the spot that we chose last time as being sort of our home spot. Have I seen these planes landing in extreme winds? Oh yeah, watch lots of those. Yeah, I did one myself at my air school. I think I've told the story before. My instructor took me up in conditions that I couldn't fly solo in. Cloud base normally had to be 500-600 feet, and the cloud base was like 300 feet, so we were doing very low circuits, and it was gusting 20 knots, pretty much the limit of the side wind for the Piper Warrior that we were in. And I mean, he was flying it, he was getting me, so I was in this seat. Am I going here? few things here, haven't we? There is a taxiway over to the other, but I think it's closed at the moment. We'll carry on to this one. But yeah, I was in this seat, but basically the runway we were landing at was like this. I'm flying in at about 40 degrees crab. You imagine the runway being that building over there. So, you know, the plane's facing this way and a runway's over there, but we're tracking this way, you know, because we're pointing that far to the left. So I've actually done my own crosswind. I mean, as I say, he was letting me have a go at some of the controls, but he was doing most of the flying. He was just trying to teach me how to fly in some extreme conditions, because we had nothing better to do. I turned up, I don't remember now, it's a long time ago, but I turned up to do a lesson, but the weather conditions weren't good, and he was like, I think he took pity on me, and he just like, well, we can go out, I can take you up and teach you some crosswind landings and think, are you up for that? You know, I went, yeah, whatever. So basically, you know, we flew around like Top Gun for some circuits. I mean, it's just a propeller plane, a PA-28, but in conditions that I couldn't fly in. But he was he was the chief flying instructor, so he could, and because I'm going with him, you know, I got to experience something that I wouldn't normally experience, and it was scary, but also like one of the best memorable moments I have in my flying days was doing those. And it taught me, like, because he was like, it just taught, because you get taught as a student, you know, everything's saying, oh no, 10 degrees up here, like, yeah, bring your flap down, you know, and you're well within the margins of the aircraft, you know, and there we are zipping around, not doing things dangerous, but he's, you know, got the plane in these extreme conditions, low clouds, high winds, 40 degree like crabbing coming into the runway, and you would never experience that as a student pilot, or even just as a DPL pilot, you know. I'm gonna try and do a turnaround here. You know, that, you know, I mean, the stall training is quite dramatic, but everybody gets to experience that. But yeah, you know, when you're watching those planes, I mean, the thing is, the bigger the plane, the much easier it is for them to handle a crosswind. You know, and all the planes have a crosswind advised maximum. And the bigger the plane and the more powerful the engines, the more cross. So a lot of the jets can handle sort of 35 to 40 mile an hour crosswinds. And it's not about the wind, it's the cross element, you know, because if you've got a 40, 50 mile an hour gust and it's straight down the runway you're landing, then planes don't really have a problem with that. You need to add some speed, because you get a 50 mile an hour gust, you don't want to stall, fall out of the sky. So you have to add quite a bit of speed if you're into quite strong wind. When it's a crosswind, obviously you're crabbing the plane, you know, with your rudders and stuff, and there's only so much the plane can steer, not only accurately but have the power to hold that crab. So I can't remember the exact figure, but in the PA-28 it was about 18 to 20 knots or something is the maximum crosswind, and we were doing that, if not just over that a little bit or something, in the circuits we were doing. And it's about double that, you know, if you're in a 737-800 or a Boeing 787 or something. But they all have very specific parameters for, you know, maximum speed with gear down and flaps, you know, and they'll have speeds for each flap stage, and they'll also have speeds for crosswinds, you know, and also different elements for, you know, if you're at 10,000 feet sea level to sea level. So planes and planes engines all do different things at different sort of sea levels. Stuff, so that's all in the all in the books, as they say. So let's put the chocks on. Let's get the GPU on. Actually, probably shut the engines down. No, this plane. Office. There's a open door. Wait, I'm not seeing one. But I'm pretty sure door opens on this thing. Or we can do it manually, I believe. Everybody off. And it doesn't let you go out, but then press Shift C. And there's another button. See yourself, but there we go, we made it back safely.